Hello, and welcome to our presentation. My name is Janelle Talents, and here I have with me Christopher Campbell, Jared Hackley, Eric Nelson, and Erica Sykes. Today, we will be discussing with you the misconceptions in the paper industry, the effects paper really has on the planet, and how your F can make for a grade A environment. So today I got back my organic chemistry exam, and well, my grade was not that great. In my disappointment, I walked out of Yon, and on my way out, I made sure to recycle my exam. By doing this, I had just initiated the paper recycling process. My exam begins its journey by first being taken from campus into a local paper mill called Rock 10. There, the exam gets de-inked, cleaned, and then gets pulped to be part of a water slurry. This slurry then goes to the paper machine, where it finishes the recycling process. But what I want to know is, how does my exam benefit the environment? Well, recycled paper is good for different aspects of the environment. Reusing paper to make paper reduces the amount of trees from being used. Reusing paper also keeps it from taking up space in landfills. Paper that goes into landfills begins the process of becoming fossil fuels, which takes millions of years to be used and resurface in the carbon cycle.
So, you might be wondering what paper is recyclable. Most paper products are recyclable. The only products that aren't meant for recycling are cups, products in contact with food, unless there's a recycling symbol present, tissues, paper towels, carbon paper, and brown envelopes. The biggest struggle with recycling paper right now is that fibers cannot be continuously reused. After about 5 to 7 times of being recycled, the fibers become too short and can't remain in the sheet. To try and compensate for this, paper mills will add new fibers to the old, but paper mills still struggle with the problem. About 65% of recycled paper is used in paper production, and for every ton of recycled paper, about 17 trees are saved. So this means this large recycling results in millions of trees that are no longer needed in paper production. Sadly, paper cannot be recycled forever, so fresh timber is needed to sustain the production of recycled paper. However, mills practice proper forest management, which can actually benefit the environment, and every tree cut down is replaced with new saplings. Because paper is used in almost everything, it's probably no surprise that paper makes up a major portion of landfill space. By recycling, potentially 90 million cubic yards of landfill space is saved each year.
It's not a secret that the paper industry consumes a massive amount of energy, amounting to over $7 billion worth of purchased fuels and electricity annually. This number could be a lot larger. They're big machines that typically run 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Using this much energy would lead you to think that the paper industry is a huge contributor to CO2 emissions from using fossil fuels. In actuality, the paper industry contributes less than 5% of the total global CO2 emissions. Now, how is this possible? As a result of the paper-making process, there is a significant amount of chemical waste that accumulates. Instead of paying to dispose of it properly, or in some cases just throwing it out, paper companies actually burn a lot of its waste, which then provides energy for the plant. Some plants are so efficient that they can actually sell electricity back to the electric companies and turn a profit. Since most, if not all, of the waste being burned comes from biomass, there are very little CO2 emissions that results. Paper companies are always looking at ways to make their process more efficient and more cost-effective. There are so many points along the paper-making process where improvements can be made to reduce how much energy is consumed or how much of their waste can be reused. Paper companies know this and exploit it, which is why companies like Rock 10 are still around today and can continue to grow.
In the paper process, water is used in raw material preparation, pulp washing and screening, and in the paper machines. The Food and Agricultural Organization of the UN estimates that the total effluent that comes from the paper mills is about 40,000 million cubic meters per year, or an average of 200 cubic meters of effluent per 1 ton of pulp and paper. The water used is mostly from freshwater surfaces, but some of it also comes from groundwater. The water is contaminated with chemicals from the paper-making process. It was concluded that 88% of the water is used and returned back to the surface water, cleaner than when it was taken out. Paper mills can treat the effluent water in 3 steps: a primary effluent treatment, which consists of neutralization and screening, a secondary treatment using microorganisms to reduce organic content and toxicity, and then a tertiary treatment, which is a chemical precipitation. The pulp and paper industry is making strides to decrease the amount of fresh water they use. According to Paper Online, the paper industry has reduced the annual water consumption by over 14% per year since 1994. An example of this would be an Iraq 10 mill that decreased its water usage by over 600,000 gallons per day since 2012.
From what has been presented so far, I hope everyone is beginning to see the misconceptions of the paper industry. Paper is not only biodegradable, but can also be used several times over. Because of the paper and forestry industries, there are now more trees in the U.S. than ever before. Bringing everything full circle, you should all have a better understanding of what is meant by an F contributing to an A+ environment. 1 ton of your failed exams can save 17 trees from being cut down. So the next time you find yourself in this situation, just remember, don't be bummed out, you can help a tree out. To conclude, the paper industry is an extensive universe that radiates around a single tree. Trees are the sole input of our industry, so it is of the highest importance that we preserve them for future generations to come. Thank you.